Patrick Mahomes has been in the league for 9 seasons now, and during his tenure in the league, him and the Chiefs have pretty much dominated the NFL for the most part. Patrick Mahomes is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, a 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 4-time AFC champion, 2019, 2020, 2022, 2023. He has been to 6 AFC title games, 2028 through 2023, 2018, 2022, 2-time Most Valuable Player of the Year, 2018 NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 2018, 2022, 2024, 3-time First Team All-Pro, 2020, 2023, Second Team All-Pro, 2-time Second Team All-Pro. So this man has done some good things, great things in his career. Not a whole lot of athletes can say that they've shot up to the top of the food chain as quickly as Mahomes did. We haven't seen a whole lot of athletes shoot to the top as quickly as Mahomes did. It's hard to do. You can make the case that he is a Hall of Famer. I would say that you can put him in the Hall of Fame. But what usually comes with this success? And it doesn't have to be this much success. You don't have to be a 3-time Super Bowl champion and a 2-time MVP or anything like that. All you gotta do is put up some numbers and you become, you guessed it, the GOAT. Yes, the greatest of all time. So in this video, I am going to give my reasons as to why I don't think Mahomes is the greatest of all time. His play style. When he came to the league, he was running around and making these vertical, crazy passing attempts and these completions, shovel passes, jump shot throws. I think he had a jump shot throw against Tampa on a Sunday night game. Grenade-like throws, diving attempts, falling backwards and throwing it to the back of the end zone. And I'll admit, I was caught up in it too. I was caught up in the whole style over substance because he was making some crazy throws. I'll give him that. Even though he missed them, they were pretty accurate. But he wasn't doing that every single game, almost every single play. Patrick Mahomes benefited off of screens, check downs, slants, hitch balls. So the next reason why I don't think he is the greatest of all time, his legendary 2020-18 season, which was his rookie season basically, because he played one game in 2017 and started one game. In 2018, him and Andy Reid helped engineer a juggernaut offense. They averaged 35.3 points per game, scoring a total of 565 points. Even though their offense was great, their defense was not. They allowed 421 total points. They gave up 26.3 points per game. They scored a total of 71 touchdowns, and they were ranked first in the NFL in scoring. Patrick Mahomes helped lead the Chiefs to a 12-4 regular season record and an AFC Championship game appearance. Even though Patrick Mahomes won the Most Valuable Player award that year, it wasn't just a ordinary MVP-like season. He joined Peyton Manning as being the second quarterback in NFL history to throw for 50 touchdowns and have 5,000 passing yards that season in a single season. He threw for 5,097 yards, 50 touchdowns, led the league, completed 66% of his passes. Now, when I go back and look at some of his games from that season, it wasn't so legendary. He wasn't hitting guys on deep 20-yard in routes, throwing guys open on a post route, throwing lasers in between the defense. He wasn't doing that. He was mostly doing screens, check downs, slants, and the Chiefs had multiple playmakers, especially Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, who were the main catalysts in the yak yards. He had a roster that was capable of creating yards after the catch. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs threw passes at or behind the line of scrimmage on 34.6% of their total passing attempts. This short yardage and screen passing scheme accounted for 52.8% of the team's total yards that year. So, Patrick Mahomes wasn't constantly hitting guys on vertical passes, post routes, deep in and out routes, taking chances with the football, throwing it between defenders, making crazy back shoulder throws. Andy Reid helped devise a system that would make things easy for Patrick Mahomes. And when you have a guy like Tyreek Hill, who's versatile, very quick as hell, you can use him for gimmicky like plays, use him in motion. So when he's going in motion, Patrick Mahomes can fake it as if he's going to give it to his running back, but then it'll turn into a quick swing pass on the other side of the field to Tyreek Hill, and he'll have a chance to create yards after the catch, follow his blocks, putting Travis Kelce in a position to where he can work the middle of the field in one-on-one situations. So Patrick Mahomes has a go-to target when he has to throw the ball, creating plays that allowed him to check to an easy read. And if the first read isn't there, he can go to his second read. And if it's not there, he can throw it away or run for a first down. So Andy Reid has really helped Patrick Mahomes be so successful in the NFL by creating a game plan for him that doesn't allow him to do much. Now, the game to where he threw for 50 touchdowns, well, I should say he broke the record against the Oakland Raiders. Patrick Mahomes went 14 for 24, 281 yards, had 2 touchdown passes, 1 interception. He was okay in this game. His first pass was him trying to get it to Demarcus Robinson on a slant. And then when they were in 3rd and 10, Patrick Mahomes was getting pressured by Oakland. He evades it, manages to dump it off to Anthony Sherman, who created yards after the catch, and the pass went for 12 yards. Now, someone was to look at the stat sheet and be like, well, he completed a 12-yard completion. Well, the stats doesn't say that Anthony Sherman did most of the work. And on that same drive, Patrick Mahomes throws a 67-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill. He just runs right by his defender, and that leads me to these passing records that these quarterbacks complete. In this case, Mahomes. It will always come with an asterisk. Nowadays, you can't touch the wide receivers. You can't get physical. Watching a wide receiver and a DB play one-on-one with each other is like a track meet. To be successful in the NFL, I truly believe the DB has to have good speed. Tyreek Hill level-like speed. Because, again, you can't get physical with the wide receiver, so whoever gets to the ball first wins. And you can't also touch the quarterback. So the guys on offense are protected at all times, for the most part. Throughout the game, I don't know if I mentioned this, Patrick Mahomes, he had 1 pick, but he should have had 3 picks. He came close to having 3 interceptions. He had a shovel pass attempt when they were 3rd and 1 in their red zone. Quick out routes, dump off passes, he didn't really stretch the field a whole lot in this game. Now, he did make plays. I'm not saying he had a terrible game, but it wasn't like, whoa, shit, Patrick Mahomes is just killing the Raiders right now, making these crazy, impressive throws and stretching the field. Next up, the referees. I have to mention this because the referees have allowed, in recent years, the Chiefs to get away with some egregious calls.
Sometimes the refs let the Chiefs get away with 3 penalties in 1 play. Because when the Vikings right here threw into the end zone and everyone saw a flag, at first refs called pass interference on the Chiefs, which it clearly was. But not long after, the refs changed their minds and claimed there was no penalty. This had the Vikings coach about to crash out. Him and everybody not only saw a replay showing that not only was it clearly pass interference, and the Chiefs player took off his helmet, which should have been another flag. The refs even missed a face mask call right when the play started. The Chiefs literally deserved 3 penalties that play, and now 0 were called. This completely flipped the game from the Vikings potentially tying things up to turning the ball over and losing by a touchdown.
But anyone remember this?
His squad stopped the Chiefs from getting a first down, so both teams were walking off the field and the Chiefs were getting ready to punt. Until for the first time ever, the ref claimed the Chiefs got a free do-over play? Bro, what? I ain't ever heard of something like that. Anyways, even though the refs were giving the Chiefs another chance, luckily the Bengals got a sack and thought the momentum swung in their favor.
Right, so the Chiefs got 2 third-down conversion attempts in that AFC Championship game. They have benefited against horrible calls that were not called against them. And when people say that the NFL and sports are rigged, I don't blame them for feeling that way. I don't know what's going to happen from here on out because Patrick Mahomes is coming back from an injury that he suffered the final game of this past season. So I don't know if Roger Goodell and the NFL is going to try to protect Patrick Mahomes, but I think the Chiefs were getting away with so many blatant egregious calls that were not being called because Patrick Mahomes at the time was getting that Tom Brady-like aura. The Chiefs, they're competing for AFC Championship games year after year. They're competing for Super Bowls year after year. Kind of like the Patriots. We don't have a Tom Brady anymore, so we need a new Tom Brady. We need a face of the league. Let's make Patrick Mahomes the face of the fucking league. Referees helping out the Chiefs. Super Bowl performances. Super Bowl 54. 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes' first championship and his first Super Bowl win. Mahomes went 26 for 42, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs. He had 1 rushing touchdown. That rushing touchdown was a fake pitch play, so he could either pitch it to his running back or run it in himself, putting the defender in a compromising situation. But Patrick Mahomes' first passes were swing passes. The first pass got batted down. The second was out in front of the wide receiver. He had a quick slant to Tyreek Hill for a completion. The first half, check downs. He did have 1 pass that went more than 10 yards. In the second half, he had a play action completion, kept his eyes down the field, found his target. His first pick was a horrible interception to Fred Warner, trying to get it to Tyreek Hill. In the third quarter, he's trying to get it to Watkins. The pass goes in the dirt. Then in the fourth quarter, his first pass attempt is an incomplete pass, but it almost gets picked off. He was trying to get it to Tyreek Hill, but it almost gets picked off by Quan Alexander. If he picks it off, there's a chance he could run it back or put San Francisco in field goal range. And the game was 20-10. So if he picks that off, San Francisco probably wins the game. And while he's throwing this pass, he's rolling out to his left, throws off balance. The pass has no chance of being completed anyway, and it almost gets picked. But the next play, Patrick Mahomes hits Damian Williams on a quick curl route, finds him out of the backfield, and he's able to create yards after the catch for a first down. Once again, being around playmakers that can create yards after the catch, and that's what the Chiefs offense was about. But on that drive, he then throws another pick, trying to get it to Tyreek Hill. Some dangerous passing attempts to Tyreek Hill. And when he was there, he would put the ball in jeopardy trying to get it to Tyreek Hill. He throws an interception to Tyreek Hill. The ball is behind Tyreek, and it gets picked off by Tarvarius Moore. But the Chiefs defense is able to stop San Francisco. They get the ball back. They get a penalty with 7 minutes and 25 seconds left. They get a penalty, false start penalty, which puts them in a 1st and 15 situation. Patrick Mahomes is trying to get the ball to Tyreek Hill. The pass is low and trying to get it to Tyreek, but he's able to catch it, but San Francisco reviews it and it's overturned. Then he throws it to Tyreek Hill again for a 44-yard pass on 3rd and 15. This was probably his best throw of the game. He stayed calm, stayed relaxed in the pocket, and delivered a clutch pass to Tyreek Hill. Later on, the Chiefs are moving down the field. It's 3rd and 10. The San Francisco 49ers decide to play man foolishly. Travis Kelce gets a pass interference call, worked in his favor. The Chiefs end up scoring a touchdown, 20-17. And then after that, they go on to win the game. So Mahomes in the Super Bowl was a good, bad, and ugly performance, I guess. Or I would say a decent, bad, ugly performance. Super Bowl 55, the Chiefs versus the Buccaneers. Now this was an ass kicking, one of the 2 Super Bowls that Mahomes and the Chiefs took a ass whooping. And this was a treat because I got to watch 2 overrated quarterbacks, possibly of all time, compete for yet another title in their careers. Mahomes was 26 for 49, 270 yards passing, had 2 picks. Mahomes' first pass attempt was a 3-yard little hitch ball to Brian Pringle. On that drive, he tries to get the ball to Mecole Hardman down the sideline, but it's too far out in front. Now, he was well covered, but he didn't put the ball in the area to where Mecole could try to make a play on it. Then he tries to get it to Mecole Hardman again on a big play, but he's nowhere near the ball. I think he should have thrown the ball on the inside of the field, like lead him to the inside, but instead he leads him to the outside, and the DB was right there to try and make a play on the ball too. Mahomes was pressured all game in this game. Tampa Bay sends a corner blitz at him. They make him get rid of the football, but it almost gets picked off, and possibly for a pick 6. They blitz him again with 2 cornerbacks. He gets out of the pressure, throws a jump ball to Tyreek Hill. Antoine Jameson knocks it. Well, Tyreek Hill almost catches the ball, but it bounces off his face mask, but still a dangerous throw because Travis Kelce was in the area as well. And if Antoine Winfield bats the ball, then there's a chance it probably gets picked off or probably goes for a touchdown. But either way, it was a dangerous pass. Second quarter, he hits Tyreek Hill for a quick pass, and he's able to create yards after the catch. Andy Reid sets up a gimmicky-like play, but Patrick Mahomes throws it in the dirt, trying to get it to a wide receiver in the flat. And in the third quarter, things were pretty much out of hand, and Patrick Mahomes tries to make something happen. He gets sacked by Shaq Barrett, and it's 3rd and 13, so he's trying to make a big play intended for Tyreek Hill again. This man just throws up dangerous passes to Tyreek Hill. Fuck. It gets batted. Antoine Winfield picks it off, and the Chiefs go on to lose 31-9 in a blowout. I'm aware that the Chiefs had offensive line injuries. The offensive line didn't play too very well. Patrick Mahomes didn't have a whole lot of time in the pocket. Travis Kelce dropped some passes. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers got away with some bullshit in this game. So I'm not trying to pin this whole loss on Mahomes, all right? I'm just talking about the things that he had control of. Super Bowl 57, Chiefs versus the Eagles. This was the game that Patrick Mahomes became the greatest of all time, because not only did he win his second Super Bowl, but he did it on a sprained ankle. Oh shit, sprained ankle. Terrell Owens played in a Super Bowl with a fractured tibia and a badly damaged deltoid ligament. But Patrick Mahomes is the greatest of all time because he won his second championship on a sprained ankle. This was also a game that showed that football is the ultimate team sport. Patrick Mahomes went 21 for 27, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, ran the ball for 44 yards. He really had one impressive throw. That was to Travis Kelce for his first touchdown completion. This is when they tied it up. He had Kelce on an out and up for 18 yards, touchdown, impressive throw. Patrick Mahomes going into the third quarter had 89 passing yards. 89. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, had 182 yards going into the third quarter. If he's the GOAT, shouldn't he have the same amount of yards that Jalen Hurts has going into the second half? Now, his last 2 touchdown completions, his second touchdown completion was to Kadarius Toney. He was going in motion. Philadelphia loses him, and he gets free, and Patrick Mahomes is able to just check it down to him in the flat for an easy walk-in touchdown. Then his third touchdown completion was the same play on the other side, but to Sky Moore. Now, as I mentioned, this game showed that football is the ultimate team sport. Before his third touchdown completion, Kadarius Toney returned a 65-yard punt return. Jalen Hurts had 1 fumble and lost it. It was picked up by Nick Bolton and returned for a touchdown for 36 yards. So you had a 65-yard punt return, you had a 36-yard fumble return for the defense. And the Chiefs were able to establish a running game, especially in the third quarter. They were able to control Philly at the line of scrimmage whenever they decided to run the ball. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, he completed hitch balls, screen passes. There was a gimmicky play to where the O-line was faking as if they were communicating to each other, and then the ball was snapped to throw Philly off, and Patrick Mahomes completed a quick pass to Jerick McKinnon. Again, showing why Andy Reid is so important to Patrick Mahomes, creating these types of gimmicky plays for him to help him be successful on the field. When he did complete intermediate passes, they were wide open over the middle of the field. Kelce getting open and allowing to work the middle of the field. He had a slant pass for 3 yards to Juju Smith-Schuster. So Mahomes in this game wasn't bad, but he was okay. And you know, even though the throws he was making weren't difficult, he still made the throws. You know, Patrick Mahomes, I don't think he's the GOAT, but he has made plays throughout his career. I will give him that. I'm just saying that this is not GOAT-worthy shit. And I thought Jalen Hurts outplayed him in the Super Bowl. Now, he threw for 304 yards and 1 touchdown, but still, I don't think he was like, oh my God, he was the shit, you know. Compared to Patrick Mahomes' level of play in this game, I thought he outperformed him, but I didn't think Jalen Hurts was lights out either. I thought he was okay as well. All right, 2 more left. Super Bowl 58, a rematch from Super Bowl 54, the Niners versus the Chiefs. Now, this was the year where Patrick Mahomes went full check down and short throws. This was the year where the defense showed up and helped carry the Chiefs. But no one's going to talk about the defense because they're not the offense. They're not scoring points. They're not catching 67-yard bombs down the field and running gimmicky screenplay passing attempts. No one cares about the other players. It's always about the quarterbacks. A high-level cornerback could pick off a Hall of Fame quarterback multiple times in the AFC Championship game And the quarterback would get all the credit for his team winning the game. He could pick six a Hall of Fame quarterback in a Super Bowl, and the quarterback would get all the credit if his team wins the game. So the Chiefs defense dominated that season. They ranked second in total defense in yards allowed per game, second in scoring defense in points allowed per game. They allowed 17.3 points per game, second in the NFL. Allowed 289.8 yards per game in total yards, second in the NFL. Passing yards allowed 176.5 yards per game, fourth in the NFL. Rushing yards allowed 113.2 yards per game, 18th in the NFL. So they kind of struggled against the run, but still their defense was top notch. Now, if I were to go on ProNFL.com where I can watch film, which is something you Patrick Mahomes meat writers don't do. If I were to go back at this season and pick a game and look at certain plays from the game, and I want to look at his short yardage completion attempts, and I click air yards, okay? And I want to look at plays that were 10 yards or shorter, and I see 27 plays where Patrick Mahomes threw the ball 10 yards or shorter 27 times. Let's go to week 2. If I do the same thing, 32 plays, 10 yards or less for passing attempts for Patrick Mahomes. That's just the first 2 weeks. He threw the ball a lot farther than that throughout the season. Okay, let's skip all the way to the Super Bowl. I want to look at his short passing attempts. 37 plays where he threw the ball 37 times, 10 yards or less in a Super Bowl. In Super Bowl 58. In Super Bowl 58, he threw for 333 yards, 34 completions, 46 passing attempts, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. It took him 5 quarters for him to throw over 300 yards in his first Super Bowl. His 3 attempts to where he threw the ball 20 yards or more down the field. He had a 52-yard completion into double coverage, and he's had a habit of throwing the ball into double coverage. He throws it to Mecole Hardman, and if free safety Deshaun Gibson doesn't lose sight of the ball, he probably picks it off. He throws a pick trying to get the ball to Kelsey. So it's another Super Bowl where he's turned the ball over. His third passing attempt for 20 yards or more down the field to Valdez-Scantling looks like he's running an in and out route. He actually beats Lenore, but Mahomes throws the ball towards the sideline where Scantling can't make a play on the ball, and he doesn't really catch the ball in stride. Now the passes that he did make, hitch ball, screens, passes out the backfield, nothing too special. His first passing attempt was a screen pass to Kelsey for 1 yard. He had another screen pass to Rashee Rice for 1 yard. In the fourth quarter, there's a bad snap. He picks the ball off the ground. He's getting pressured. He throws a little balloon up in the air. Dangerous pass. Yair Brown almost comes away with the ball. He has a chance to make a play on the ball, but it's just out of his reach. Have you noticed the amount of times that I mentioned Patrick Mahomes has almost put the ball in jeopardy and he's turned the ball over? But he's the GOAT. Oh shit. Later on in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes and 44 seconds left, Pat Mahomes rolls out to his right. They're in the red zone. He can't find anybody, so he's running around. He finds Rashee Rice, tries to hit him in the back of the end zone. Demetrius Flanagan fouls, almost makes an amazing play, diving to the right, almost gets both his hands on the ball, but it just bounces off his fingers, so he can't come away with the athletic interception. And then once the game goes into overtime, Patrick Mahomes makes plays, goes down the field. Andy Reid makes this where Mecole Hardman is faking like he's going in motion. He gets wide open, no one is near him. Easy touchdown for Mahomes, and they win the Super Bowl, go back to back. So the Super Bowl, he was, again, mediocre, okay, average, decent. And his final Super Bowl, Super Bowl 59, second Super Bowl that him and the Chiefs have been in, where they got dragged across the field. In this Super Bowl, this was, without a doubt, Mahomes' worst Super Bowl performance. He was 21 for 32, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. A couple of those, well, shit. All of those touchdown passes kind of came in garbage time. 3 touchdown passes, 2 picks. He almost had 3 picks. He put the ball in jeopardy in this game. Almost got picked off. He had a pick 6. He was getting pressured. He looked uncomfortable. He missed DeAndre Hopkins on a wide open throw. Travis Kelce looked old and slow out there. Yeah, just an all-around ass-kicking by the Philadelphia Eagles in this one. They just got dominated everywhere. Jalen Hurts looked twice as better than he did the first time they met, and this was another Super Bowl that Jalen Hurts outplayed Mahomes in. Although in this Super Bowl, he looked fantastic. 17 for 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They took away Saquon Barkley, but he was still able to make plays with his arm. So in all these Super Bowls, he's looked bad and he's looked decent. There's not one Super Bowl that I can go back and say he was amazing, he was great, he was awesome. Every single one of these I can say he didn't play well, he was decent, he was average. And the final reason, Patrick Mahomes' teams have never beaten Brady's teams. They lost in the 2018 AFC Championship game, and of course they got mollywopped in Super Bowl 55. To this day, people still love to solely blame and give credit to the quarterback. Brady beat Manning and Manning beat Brady. Ben Roethlisberger lost to Aaron Rodgers, so Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback. Josh Allen can't beat Mahomes. Lamar can't beat Josh Allen. Jalen Hurts beat Mahomes. I think it's stupid, but since people still go by that logic, Mahomes would not be the greatest of all time since he has never beaten, God, I feel weird saying that, since he has never beaten Tom Brady in big time games. And not only that, how are you going to put a guy who had 2 rings over a guy who had 7 rings and played longer than Patrick Mahomes did? And in that AFC Championship game, the Chiefs had a drive later on in the second quarter. Mahomes overthrows Damian Williams on a wheel route for a touchdown. Then he gets sacked on that same drive, so they get taken out of field goal range. And the score was 7-0. So if Patrick Mahomes cashes in on that touchdown, who knows how the game turns out. But if you're the GOAT, you have to make that throw. And later on in the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes puts the ball in jeopardy again, trying to get it to Tyreek Hill, launching up a deep pass in double coverage, and it almost gets picked off. The amount of almost picks that this guy has had in his career is ridiculous. And he's supposed to be the greatest of all time, but he's constantly putting the ball in danger for it to get picked off. And FYI, Tom Brady's not the GOAT to me. Neither one of these guys are the greatest of all time to me. Both guys have had mediocre performances in the playoffs, decent performances in the playoffs, poor performances in the playoffs and in Super Bowls. They have benefited from their teams bailing them out in certain situations, but they're never going to get credit for that. But this is not about Tom Brady. This is about Patrick Mahomes. And this video is not me trying to hate on Mahomes, and I'm not trying to say that checkdowns and screens and bubble screens, gimmicky plays are terrible, but it's not GOAT-worthy shit. And again, this dude has had mediocre performances. He is not the greatest of all time. I think you can put him in the Hall of Fame. You can make a case for him being a Hall of Famer. Cool, fine. But to be the greatest of all time? No. Whenever I make videos like this, I piss off some meat writers. So I'm sure the Patrick Mahomes meat writers are going to give their thoughts in the comment section. I can't wait to see that. Please like and subscribe. That is it. I am out.